loves, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Masandra. If you're seeing my face for the first time, you're welcome to my channel. If you're one of my subscribers, you've been coming back and back, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for coming back to this video. So for today's video, we are making a sweater, another sweater. As we know, it's sweater season, so I just wanted to just make loads of sweater with different stitches in different colors as well, just so I can have options in my wardrobe this winter, this fall winter coming. So for today's tutorial, we are using the puff stitch. So I've never used this stitch before. This is actually my first time using it, and I really love the way it turned out. And of course, I did use this beautiful yarn. It's actually acrylic and polyester yarn. I did use I think approximately, I'll need to check the amounts that I actually used, but it's really easy once you get the idea of the puff stitch. The rest is actually very easy. I made mine a bit off the shoulder because I just want to show some shoulders. If you don't want to, there's a way you can just fix this and just make yours to whatever neckline that you want to go for. It's really easy. I would say this is a beginner/intermediate kind of tutorial. It's really easy for you to follow. And I forgot, but this actually has a lace something on the side. It's not actually visible because I did use the same yarn to lace it up. You can actually use another color yarn just so it's more visible if that's what you're going for. It's actually a way I can also take this off and switch the lace up whenever I want to, so it's quite easy. But for now, I just wanted to use the same yarn to lace it up, so I just forgot to mention that. But there's something going on right there and right here, so let's get into the video. So guys, to get started, I am going to make a slip knot, and I'm going to be using my bust measurement for the top. So my bust measurement is originally 34 inches. So because we are working in two different panels, I am going to divide 34 by 2, which gives me a total of 17. So I'm going to go ahead and just chain a chain that is 17 inches long. So guys, right here I have a total of 71 chains, which is perfect because when it's stretched, it goes all the way to 19 inches. So you're going to make sure you actually end up with an odd number. So 71 is an odd number, so that's perfect. I'm just going to chain an extra one, and I'm going to go ahead and do 1 single crochet in every chain right till the end of this row. So at the end, I shall have a total of 70 chains. 70 single crochets. So to get started with the puff stitch, you're going to chain an extra one and turn, and right into the second single crochet. So you're going to skip this first one, and right into the second one, you're going to yarn over, insert your crochet hook right into the second single crochet space, and afterwards you should have 3 loops on your hook. You're going to yarn over again, insert your crochet hook right into the same space, and then pull through with a total of 5 loops on your crochet hook. So you're going to do this until you have a total of 9 loops, which means for a total of 2 more yarn over. So yarn over, insert your crochet hook for the 3rd time, and now you have a total of 7 loops on your hook. And we're going to repeat this for the last time. Yarn over, insert your crochet hook right into the same space, pull through, and now you have a total of 9 loops. So after the total of 9 loops, then you're going to yarn over and pull through on 9. It might be a bit too, the tension might be too tight, but just take your time. And then you're just going to pull through all 9 loops. Afterwards, you're going to chain 1 to seal off the puff stitch. From here on, you're going to skip the next single crochet right here, and into the next you're going to repeat the same pattern of yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, insert your crochet hook again, yarn over, insert your crochet hook again, and yarn over and insert your crochet hook right into the same space for a total of 9 loops at the moment on your hook. And then you're going to yarn over and pull through, and to seal off your puff stitch you're going to yarn over and pull through again. So this is actually the pattern we are working with. So I'm going to continue the same puff stitch pattern up until the very end of my single crochet row, and then I'll come back and show you guys how we can go about doing this for row 2. So guys, this is the end of row 1, and this is what your piece should be looking like. So to get started with row 2, we are going to chain 1 and turn, and right into this chain 1 or slip stitch that we did from the previous row, right into the spaces where we are going to do a 4 set of puff stitch. So basically you're going to yarn over, insert your crochet hook right into that space, yarn over, insert your crochet hook with 5 loops, yarn over, insert your crochet hook with 7 loops, yarn over and insert your crochet hook for the last time with 9 loops on the hook, and then you're going to yarn over and pull through, and then again to seal off the puff stitch you're going to yarn over and pull through again. So this actually completes the first puff stitch for row 2. So the next we are going to do it right into the space right there. So we are going to yarn over, insert a crochet hook, and repeat the same yarn over pull through pattern until you have a total of 9 loops, and then yarn over of course and pull through all 9 loops, and then you're going to go ahead and slip stitch to complete the puff stitch. So I'm going to go ahead and continue this all until the end of this row, and I'll go ahead and show you guys how you can go about ending off row 2 as well. So guys, right here I have my rows almost complete. As you can see, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and do my last puff stitch, and for that I'm going to go ahead and just like right here, if you do feel your puff stitch, you can see this is the puff, and right here is the space before this last slip stitch, chain 1 that we did basically. So for here I'm just going to go ahead and insert my hook and just do the same puff stitch right into the same space right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and seal this off with a slip stitch. So this actually completes row 2. So for you to know how many, if you actually have to keep your rows straight, I will advise you to count how many puff stitch you had at row 1 and row 2, just so you know you have the same amount for each row, because we will be working in a rectangle and we are not increasing or decreasing anything. So to get started with row 3, I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and right into the space is where I'm going to do my first puff stitch. And I'm going to go ahead and chain 1, and I'm going to repeat the same process up until the end of row 3. So coming to the end of row 3 at this point, this is what it looks like. So to end off the row, I'm basically going to go ahead and just see. I'm going to go ahead and do my sets of last set of puff stitch right there, and then I'm going to seal this off with a slip stitch. So it does look a bit funny, but it's fine. You will see how it's going to get along the way. So to get started with row 4, we are just going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn, and right here we are going to go with our first set of puff stitch, and this is how it looks. As you can see, it is straight. So from row 4, you're going to continue to do the same puff stitch. At this point, you would need the length of your top. So mine is a crop top, so you're just going to go ahead and take your measurement. If you want to make a longer sweater, then you're going to take a measurement of where you want your sweaters to stop up until your upper bust or under your armpit area, because the sleeves are worked in the top. So you're going to see along the way. So you're going to continue to do rows of puff stitch until you have the desired length from the area you want your top to stop up until your armpit area, because then we are going to work the sleeve with the top along the way. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and take a measurement so you can see. So my top originally is a total of 15 inches. So like right from where I want my top to end up until my armpit, it's a bit of 8 inches, which is perfect. So from here on, you're going to go ahead and take your sleeve measurement, how long you want your sleeve to be. So after your last row, you're just going to make a chain that is as long as how long you want your sleeve to be originally. So this is me just making random chains. So you can go ahead and take your measurement from your shoulder all the way to the end of your sleeve, just so you have the right amount. You can also make the short sleeve or even long sleeve like I did. So it's basically something you can play around with. So I'm just going to go ahead and make chains of how long I want my sleeve to be, basically on one side of the panel. So after chaining, mine is a total of 23 inches, which is the measurement from my shoulder to the end of my sleeve where I want my sleeve to stop. So again, you can go ahead and make this as short as you want or even as long as you want. It's your preference, depends on what you want, what you're going for. And you're going to go ahead and just cut that off, because we are going to repeat the same process on the opposite side of the panel with the same amount of chains. So from here on, you're just going to take your yarn and attach it to the opposite side of your panel with a secure knot, and then go ahead and chain the same amount of chains that you did for the opposite sleeve. So after chaining a total of 79 for the opposite side, I'm going to go ahead and chain an extra one. And right here into the second chain from the hook, I'm going to go with my first set of puff stitch. Just repeating the same puff stitch pattern for this chain, and then I'm going to go ahead and seal this off with a double single crochet. So that is my first puff stitch. I'm going to skip the next chain and into the next with another puff stitch right into the next chain. And I'm going to go ahead and just seal this off with single crochet. Skip the next chain and into the next with another set of puff stitch. So I'm going to continue to repeat this pattern for the entire chain, and I'm going to work my way back onto the body of the back panel and all the way to the opposite side of the sleeve, which is the opposite chains, and then I'll see you guys and show you guys what we have. But for now, this is what it looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and work my way all across this chain, all across this body part of the panel, and then I'm going to go ahead and work my puff stitch again right on top of the opposite set of chains, and then I'll come back and show you guys what my top is looking like. So guys, right here I have my puff stitch dot all the entire row with the chains as well. So for the next, we are just going to chain one, and then we are going to go ahead and repeat the same pattern until you have your desired top length. So basically, I'm just going to continue to do my puff stitch until my top is long enough for how long I want it to be. So you can actually go ahead and repeat the same stage, repeat the same process until you have a desired length, and then I'll come back and show you guys what the final top back panel looks like, so we can get started with the front panel. So guys, right here, as you can see, the back panel is complete. So we did the worker sleeve attached already, and this is how it looks on both sides. I love the pattern. I love this. Everything about it is just giving at the moment. So this is a total of 15 inches long. So that is how long I want my top to be. So again, if you want it to be longer, then you need to add more rows of puff stitch before you start doing the sleeves, but mine is the perfect length. So for the front panel, what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat the same process that I did for the back panel up until where I actually did the chains for my sleeves. So if you did more rows for your back panel because you want your top longer, so you're going to repeat the same process, and then you're going to come back and start with the same process you did for the sleeve to get the front panel going and everything. So now I'm just going to cut this off and seal off the back panel because this is complete. So I'm just going to seal this off. So for now, this is complete, done and dusted. So I'm just going to go ahead and again and repeat the same pattern that I did for the back panel up until where I actually started with my sleeve increase, with my sleeve attached together. So guys, I am back with my front panel, and it's a total of 11 inches at this moment. As you can see, it's 11 inches long. So the total length of my top is 15 inches. So I have 4 more inches more to go, which is a total of 8 rows. But what I'm going to do now is just going to start with the neckline. So basically, these are the sleeves and my yarn is attached at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and work my way from this point up until the middle of the front panel, where I'm going to start decreasing. I'm coming back to the sleeve and going to work this one part with 8 rows, and I'm going to switch ahead and do the same thing on the opposite side. So now I'm just going to chain one and just continue to work my same puff stitch until I get to the center of the top. So I'm going to chain one and turn and just continue the same stitch. So guys, now that I'm working my way to the center, this is where I'm going to determine how wide I want my neckline to be. So my neckline is actually 8 inches. So what I'm going to do is, you can also just put this along your body and see where you want your neckline to stop. So mine is 4 inches. So like when you multiply this, it's going to be a total of 8 inches for the front panel. So you can go ahead and just put this also across your body, the front part of your body, to determine how wide you want your neckline to be. But mine is going to be 8 inches. So that means I'm going to stop right there with my puff stitch, and I'm just going to start decreasing back all the way back to the sleeve. So this is my neckline. I just wanted to come on and show you guys. So when you turn this, take this away, you're going to see it stops right there, and I'm just going to go ahead and work my way all the way back. So to work my way all the way back, I'm going to seal off my last puff stitch and turn. So usually we would chain one to start off the row, but because we are going to be doing a decrease, there will be no need for us to chain anything. So I'm going to yarn over and skip this first space where I should actually do my first puff stitch. I'm going to skip this, and into the second I'm going to go with my first puff stitch because we are decreasing, and I'm going to seal that off. So you can see that immediately the decrease is already taking place on the neckline. So I'm just basically going to do one puff stitch all the way until the end of this row. So coming to the end of this row, I'm just going to go ahead and do my last puff stitch right there because we are not decreasing for the sleeve. So I'm going to do my last puff stitch, seal it off, and then I'm going to chain one and turn. So for the second row, we are just going to do one puff stitch right at this first space because we are not decreasing again for the sleeves, and I'm going to do one puff stitch in every space until I get to the center where I'm going to do another decrease for the shoulders. So coming right at the decrease area, I'm going to go ahead and do one more puff stitch right there and seal this off. So as you can see, we have 1, 2. So this is what we are going to connect together so we can actually decrease, and for that we are going to insert a crochet hook right there, and on the usual we would do a last puff stitch right at this end. So because we are decreasing, I'm just going to go ahead and insert the same time in the next space where we are supposed to do a decrease. Next puff stitch, and I'm going to pull through, and I'm going to insert it and just insert it in the same space for the 4th time until I have 9 loops on my crochet hook like this. So now I have 9. I'm going to yarn over and pull through, and I'm going to seal this off. So this actually completes the second row of decrease, and I'm going to just go ahead and continue this until my top is at this moment 15 inches long, because that is the original length for the back panel. So again, I'm just going to skip this, and I'm going to go right there with my first set of puff stitch, and within the next with my other puff stitch. So I'm going to continue to do this like I said earlier, and afterwards I'm going to repeat the same process for the opposite side of the top. So this is what it looks like at the moment. And I'm just going to continue to do this for a few more rows until this part of the top is 15 inches, and I'm going to go ahead and attach my yarn at the opposite side and repeat the same process. And I'm going to come back and show you guys how we can attach the front panel to the back panel to complete the top. So guys, right here I have the front panel complete, and this is what the neckline looks like. And so I'm going to go ahead and attach this front panel to the back panel. So you're going to go ahead and align your front and your back panel together. So after aligning both sleeves together, I'm going to go ahead and single crochet from this side underneath the top all the way to the bottom and to the sleeve right there. So I'm going to single crochet all this around, and I'm going to do the same on the opposite side as well, and then we'll come back and do the top side of the upper part of the top basically. With single crocheting, you're just going to make sure you pick up some of the stitches and just single crochet it together, because there are no single crochets or no like a fake stitch. So you just have to play your way around and see what works. So right here, as you can see, I have the lower part of my sleeve already single crocheted together, right from the bottom all the way to the end of the sleeve. So for the upper part of the sleeve, this is where we are going to do a lace-up pattern. So basically, let me turn this around. So this is the front panel. So this is a front panel because obviously this is what comes with the neckline and then shoulder part right there, and this is the sleeve. It goes all the way to this end. So this is where we will be doing our lace up pattern. So for you to determine where you want your lace up pattern to start, you're just going to go ahead and take your measurement from your shoulder up until where you want your lace up pattern to start. So I want mine to be right on after my shoulder, so it's going to be right after 5 inches. So for that reason, I'm going to go ahead and single crochet right from this top shoulder part up until 5 inches, and I'm going to seal that off, cut off my yarn, and I'm going to seal that off. So from here up until the end, it's going to be open space because this is where we will be doing a lace up pattern. But also we are going to go ahead and single crochet 2 inches right from the end of the sleeve upwards. So right from here, I'm going to go ahead and single crochet from the bottom part of the sleeve up until 2 inches. I'm going to single crochet both sides of the sleeves together because this is going to seal the end of the sleeve, and there's going to be an opening right here up until the 5 inches where we stopped at 5 inches right there. So now I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to repeat the same process for the opposite sleeve. I'm going to sew the bottom part, and I'm going to repeat the same process for the lace up and the opening right here, and I'll come back and show you guys how we can go about doing the finishing for the sleeve and for the neckline as well. So guys, right here, as you can see, I have this closing at the bottom, a big opening at the top, and also a closing at the shoulder part. So this is what I mean, and now I'm just going to repeat the same process on the opposite sleeve. So after the sleeves, we are going to go ahead and do a neck finishing, and for the neck finishing, it's really easy. I did switch to a smaller crochet hook. As you can see, I am using a 2.5. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my yarn and attach it on one side of the neck around the shoulder part. Just you can actually attach it anywhere, and I'm just going to go ahead and make a secure knot just so it's well secured. And the reason why I'm using a smaller crochet hook is just to have a tighter finishing around the neckline. And I'm just going to go ahead and chain one and do single crochets all around the neckline in every space available. So this is really, there's no principle to this. You're just going to go ahead and do single crochets all around the neckline just for you to have a nicer and neater finishing. And you're going to do this for a few rows depending on how wide you want the finishing to be. So I just went ahead and did few rows. So that is all I'm going to be doing in this clip, and afterwards we are going to do the lace up for the sleeves. So this is what the neckline looks like after few rows. Like I said, you can go ahead and do more rows if that's what you're going for. You can also make this a turtleneck. It depends on your choice and what you're going for, but this is how it looks. I just love the finishing it actually gives to the neck and makes it look way nicer and neater. So now we are going to go ahead and do the lace up for the sleeves. So now for the lace up area, because I am using a thin yarn for this whole project, I am going to go ahead and double my strings just so I can have a thicker string just to make up the lace. And then I'm just going to go ahead and chain a random chain that is really very long that I know is going to lace up, and then have a little bit of strings at the end. So if you're using a thicker yarn, then you don't need to double the strings, then you can just go ahead and make chains. But I'm just going to double mine and just make a slip knot and make random chains. And I'm going to do 2 chains because obviously we have 2 sleeves. So you're going to do this for 2 chains, and then we'll come up and lace everything up. After completing your chains, you're just going to go ahead and open your sleeve, and with the lace up pattern, you're just going to go ahead and lace it up like you would basically lace up a crochet top or tan top or even a shoelace. So I'm just going to take the 2 ends of my strings, and I'm just going to go ahead and pass them through the bottom. So I'm lacing from the bottom all the way to the top. You can also lace from the top all the way to the bottom. Again, depends on what you want to do. So I'm just going to pass them through the first 2 space that we have after doing the seal off at the end of the sleeve, and I'm just going to make sure my strings is actually equal, that both sides are just equal. And you basically just going to lace it up like I said, and just look the video and see how I lace mine up. You're just going to do the same thing, and afterwards you're going to repeat the same lace up pattern for the opposite sleeve and make a knot. And like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, you can as well go ahead and use another string or another yarn just so you can have a pop of color on your sweater. I chose the same yarn, and again I think I'm going to be switching up the strings just so I can add more spice to the sweater and just play around with it. So if you want to use another color or another yarn just so you can have a pop of color and there's just a different kind of style, then definitely go for that. But it's basically that the top is actually almost complete at this point. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a big thumbs up at the end. Just comment whatever you want to see next, and if you have questions, of course, regarding this tutorial or any other tutorial, feel free to drop them down in the comment section, and I'll definitely make time to answer the questions.